Hi there, everyone. Welcome back to the not the generated podcast. Welcome back to Chasing Thoughts with Chase. I know it's been like a month since I've uploaded. And before I actually start with the Q&A, which by the way is what we're doing today, I want to explain a little bit about why I've taken such a sudden, extended, unexplained hiatus. A lot of the first 2 weeks of this has had a lot to do with the fact that my motivation for doing stuff has been down in the dumps. And a lot of this was with the decision I had to move my computer in my room, which looking back on it was an extremely stupid decision. I should not have done that. It killed my productivity and opened up a lot of doors for temptation to come in. So I've learned my lesson. I've got the whole setup back on, and yeah, I've been feeling a lot more motivated to do stuff, hence why I'm finally recording. Second off, I am recording this on Wednesday, November 6th, and that means this is the day that the election results have come in. I am going to make a statement right here and now. I am not making a podcast episode on the election. The reason is very simply, I did not design this to be a political podcast. I designed this to be a podcast where we could talk about funny, silly stuff, but also be well informed about this funny, silly stuff. And not talk about political subjects where I know I'm going to tick someone off no matter what I do. And I already have problems feeling like I don't do enough research on the silly stuff that doesn't really matter. So I definitely don't want to feel like I haven't done enough research on a very important political subject. Now, this does not mean I do not have my political opinions. It just means I do not share them unless I am confident that I am informed. And even when I do share them, I'm usually open criticism and new information because I'm just going to be honest, I'm not the best at getting reliable information. And second off, if you're wondering, as when you're usually wearing your suit and like your white pinup shirt, where's your white pinup shirt and stuff? This is a kind of episode where I kind of feel sluggish still. I'm getting back into my momentum. And I just kind of want that to be shown with my attire. Also, I feel like if I'm going to wait until I feel motivated enough to put the outfit back on, I am never going to record this episode, dude. This episode is just one I really need to get out of the way. And finally, usually at the end of the video, when I'm done recording, I'll say, okay, so I've planned out my next episode, and it's going to be this. I'm not going to do that with this episode, but I will put down the next episode in the description. Mostly because I'm recording this on Wednesday and I posted on Friday, so there's a couple of days in between where I can think about what topic I really want to discuss. So without further ado, I'm sorry for teasing you with the Q&A for so long. We can finally get into the Q&A. This one is not going to be nearly as many questions as the first Q&A that I did when I first launched Chasing Thoughts with Chase, but I really hope I can answer these questions that people have presented me. And I'm going to start gathering questions like basically the day after I'm done recording this episode from people. So yeah, I will have more questions next time. I only have like 13 questions. So the first question I'm going to address is from my manager, Tyrell. He actually has two questions, and they're kind of related to each other. So 2 questions here. The first one is, what is my favorite part of being a content creator? And the second question is, what would I say is the hardest part of being a content creator? So my favorite part of being a content creator personally is being able to record and just video games and just feeling so free and doing that, especially when I'm doing it with other people. That's just the best feeling. I've had a few recording sessions where I've recorded games with other people. I've only turned a couple of these into actual videos, but regardless, it's an amazing time to just play games with people and to interact with people that my interest in content creation has opened myself up to. The hardest part of being a content creator for me personally is the editing process, and specifically in the editing process, finding filler footage for the intro. So if you've ever watched one of my main channel videos, you might know that I have some filler footage not from the actual video playing at the beginning when I'm doing my intro monologue. I have difficulty figuring out when I have enough of it. Usually what I do is I record like 8 minutes worth of filler footage, and then I just use however much of it I need to, which is less than 2 minutes most of the time, but still. But recording that and finding out how to make it fit, but also kind of make it filler, low effort footage is really difficult for me. And this next question is asked by my brother, and he's currently on a mission. Hope you're doing well. He asked me, if I could have any superpower, what would it be? The answer to this one for me is really simple. If I could have any superpower, it'd be teleportation. And the main reason is I hate driving. People who know me know I don't have a driver's license, but I haven't really explained to a lot of people who know me in real life why I don't have a driver's license. It's 2 reasons. 1, I forget to keep renewing my learner's permit, and 2, I kind of hate driving. I kind of hate the constant anxiety that I get when I'm on the road and having to constantly make small corrections and having to do all the different stuff in order to make sure that you don't get in an accident. It's just way too much for me. So that's why I try to walk wherever I can, and if I can't, I'll see about getting a ride somewhere. So this next question is very interesting. This was asked by my coworker Angel. He asked me, what is my opinion on AI? Now, I'm going to divide this into 3 categories because I think AI is a very, very interesting thing. And I'm definitely going to make a video more in depth on my opinion with AI, and I might even include someone else in that video. So watch out for that. But also, here, I'm going to divide it into 3 categories. AI companions, AI art, and anything else involving AI. So first off, AI companions. I am vehemently against that idea. I hate the fact that this idea even exists. And the reason I hate it is because I know it's exploitive at heart. I know it's meant to take advantage of people who are lonely and might desire a companionship that an AI companion might offer. But the problem is it's not real, and it doesn't present any complex emotions that one might see in an actual relationship. It doesn't force you as the person interacting with the AI thing to grow as a person. And as I said, it's just exploitive at heart, and especially as a service, it disgusts me. I wasn't originally gonna actually talk about AI companions, but then I listened to a seminar talk given by Elder David A. Bednar, and I felt the need to include this in my answer. I despise AI companionship. Now, second one, AI art. This is something very important to know about me, and this might bias my opinion. I am an aspiring artist myself. I've made a few drawings on Instagram and whatnot, and I make drawings every now and again, and I really enjoy art. If you're making it for funs and giggles, I do not mind. Because I understand, like, just for fun and giggle stuff, that you can't really, it's not really worth the money to buy it from an artist if it's just for shits and giggles. Now, if you are a corporation and you're trying to make a commercial product from AI art, that's where I start to have the problem. And the reason I have this problem is mostly because of the way AI art is sourced. For those of you who do not know, the way that AI art image generators work is they're basically trained by taking thousands of images and then producing an output replicated based on those images. The problem with this is that it takes a lot of artists' images without their permission. So these AI things will just pull up random images, and it's going to be like art that artists have poured hours into. Doesn't even ask them for anything. It just takes the art and uses it to train itself without their permission, and it's soulless. I don't like it if it's being used for a corporate purpose, but if you're using it casually, I don't care as much. But yeah, as I said, I am an aspiring artist / big art enthusiast, so this definitely does bias my opinion on AI. And the final section, which is anything else AI related, I just think we need to apply some ethics to it. We need to understand where it's ethical and not ethical to use AI in the various situations that I might come up with. And that's what I think is like good common practice for the other two as well. Except I think AI companions should not be a thing, but yeah, you can bite on me on that if you want. As I said, I am definitely going to make an episode to further press on this because this is a very important subject that I think is worth addressing. This next question was asked by my friend Alyssa, and ironically, this is very important to note about the question. I was asked this question before Halloween happened. I'm recording this after Halloween, obviously. What would I be for Halloween? Asked by my friend Alyssa, and here's the answer. I did not dress up as anything this Halloween, which was a royal shame because last year I dressed up as the tier 5 permabrew monkey from BTD6. Editor me, can you try and find an image of the monkey? There we go, thank you. I was dressed up as that last year in a very poor cosplay, but I actually won a trophy at a party for it for most original costume, so yeah. It was nice. I also got a few glass cups out of it, so yeah. But this year I was planning on being Akuma from Street Fighter, but I never really bought anything because, spoiler alert, I am not so great at managing my money. But, however, this does not mean I'm abandoning the idea entirely. I have made this a 40 follower goal on my Twitch. I'm also going to plug my Twitch again. Editor, do that for me. Thank you. You are amazing, editor, me. And yeah, so when I reach 40 followers, I'm going to wear my Akuma costume on stream. And I'm going to buy the stuff just in random sporadic bursts as I get to 40 followers. Now, this next question is actually really interesting, and I had not known anything about it until I did research to answer this question. And this is asked by my bishop, and he's asked me, what do I think about Pascal's wager? And also, another spoiler alert, I know I'm doing a lot of, like, episode exposition. Expect this to happen a lot in Q&As. I will be making a full episode on Pascal's wager, because I think this is a very interesting subject, and I will definitely see if I can't try to have Bishop Watts talk with me about it. Pascal's wager, for those of you who don't know, was made by a French, I'm not sure if he was a French mathematician or French philosopher or whatever. He was French, and Pascal was, and he basically made the assertion that mathematically speaking, you lose less from believing in God than you do from not believing in God. He makes the assertion of if God exists, and if God really does exist, and you choose to live your life as if God doesn't exist, then you're going to be really disappointed. Compared to if you live your life thinking that God exists and it turns out that he actually doesn't, you're not losing nearly as much, mathematically speaking, because you're only losing out a little bit on living the Christian lifestyle. And I think this is a very interesting argument. I do think it has its flaws. And again, I've already gotten a little bit controversial with the AI question and even bringing up the election, so I don't really want to address it here. I will save that for the Pascal's wager episode, however, that will probably be coming out next year since that's a collab episode. And that's when I plan on starting my collab episodes. So yeah. His wife, Sister Watts, asked, what events do I plan on doing in the Olympics? Now, for some context on this, for those of you who might be new to the channel or might have forgotten, I've made the dedication to train to become a gymnast in gymnastics. I said I was going to go to the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics, though I'm thinking in order to give myself as much time to train and to hone my skills to be the very best, I might shoot for 2032, which is the Olympics right before 2034. And that's an interesting topic in of itself because it's being held in Salt Lake. And boy, will that be fun. But I've narrowed down to three events, two or three events I want to do. One of the events I want to do is the tumbling. I really like the idea of just doing spins and flips across a empty thing. To me, that symbolizes just like the best part of gymnastics. Just being able to do those sick tricks, it's so cool. The second one is the pommel horse, and if you don't know what it is, Basically, it's a... I'm not going to describe it. Editor, I'm going to call on editor me again. I'm going to be doing a lot of editing for this episode. Editor, can you please show a picture of the pommel so everyone knows what it's talking about? Maybe have a gif of someone doing tricks on it. Yeah, thanks. I want to do that event, and then maybe I want to do the rings. I'm not so sure on the rings because the rings and the bars require a lot of upper body strength, and that is not my kind of thing. But I might do it if I happen to maybe in the future be like, oh, hey, I actually really enjoy this once I get a bit stronger. And speaking of which, tomorrow my workout is going to be doing 60 push-ups. Part of my workout is going to be anyway, because I got to do that for a video anyway, so yeah. So this question right here, asked by my friend Foster, might be the most left field question I've ever gotten asked for the Q&A. It is, what do I think about SpaceX wanting to go to Mars with all the poverty in the world? Yes, that is actually what he wrote down. So, obviously, like, at first, it's only going to be the super rich. And I think this could actually be really, really good. Do you want to know why? Because if we can convince Elon and his other rich billionaires to make a new economic system, separate economic system for Mars that is not entwined with ours in any way, shape, or form, and make a law saying if you want to go to Mars, you can do that, but you have to give up all your assets here on Earth, then that could turn out really well. Because that could redistribute the wealth. Or it could be that someone else just buys it all up. But I'm trying to be on the hopeful side that at least some of it comes back to the general populace. Even if there is someone who nabs a very significant portion of it, I'm hoping that at least some of it goes back to the general populace and to help out the general populace. So, if that does happen, it could be really good if it's pulled off right, but again, it could also be whatever at worst for me. This next question is a really good one. I love this question, but I forgot to write down who asked it when I was typing in my Google Doc. I got their name, and then I just forgot to type it in. I'm so sorry about that. I like to ask people about their questions. And question 11 is, what first inspired me to start a YouTube channel? So, my oldest channel is, believe it or not, 6 years old, and oh my goodness. What actually inspired it, the first inspiration was Dan TDM. I started watching his videos, like his Trayaurus videos, and that's when I started realizing, like, oh, that's nice, and hey, this is actually something someone could make a living off of. Created the channel. I created under Lost Spiral Gamer was the name, and please do not ask me why my name was Aswender under Lost Spiral Gamer. That is an entirely different story, and if you guys want to ask that for the next Q&A, I will happily answer. But yeah, what inspired me to start my YouTube channel was watching Dan TDM's videos when I was like 12. Though I didn't actually start it till I think I was like either 14 or 16. Well, no, I started it when I was 14 because it was 6 years ago. But I didn't actually start doing any sort of consistent uploading until 16. Asked me, what is the most overrated team in college football? I don't watch college football a lot. My dad's a very big college football fan, but surprisingly, this is an easy answer for me. That answer is the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, I am biased because my uncle, who is a really cool dude, is a Georgia Bulldogs fan. But I've also looked at them, and especially their coach. They talk big, and I mean, they play big, but they talk way bigger than they play. And let it be known that they actually play really well. Like, I think in the past 5-6 years, they've been like a consistent top 5 team. So it's not like they don't have skill to back up the moxie. But their moxie is really big. So if I'm saying that they're this skilled, but also their moxie is bigger than their skill, then you can imagine how big their moxie is. Whew. Yeah, to me, they're just kind of overrated. Like, whatever, dude. We get it. You're a top 5 team. can we please turn the attention to someone else? And that someone else is my next question. It's actually the second to last one. Oh my goodness. I cannot believe I'm going through these questions so fast. Or maybe I'm not. I don't know how long the video is going because I kind of like dim the computer screen so I don't stare at it, so I can actually stare at the camera. It helps improve my camera relationships. Let me sit up a little straighter. Are you feeling that personal stare yet? Yeah, okay, this is awkward. Let's just get to the question. It was asked by my friend Cleveland, and he said, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? And I'm going to turn my computer screen on to do something. So the woodchuck, it's a groundhog? Sorry. I was going to look up woodchuck, like, oh my goodness. And there's an actual answer I found it on Google. I did not know that until today. My friend was telling me, you need to be learning new stuff. And there is something new I learned, Warner. Apparently, a woodchuck is a groundhog. This might take the... Here's what the AI overview says. And I'm sorry I'm using the AI overview. I know I'm super lazy, but... Here's what it says. The answer to the question of how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if the woodchuck could chuck wood is estimated to be around 700. Now, here's how it came up with this. Because in real life, woodchucks don't actually chuck wood, but they do chuck a lot of dirt when they're digging their burrows. Now, the average woodchuck burrow is estimated to be somewhere around 35 square feet. Now, soil weighs approximately around 20 pounds per square foot. Now you just multiply the weight of the soil by the square feet to get about 700 pounds of dirt when they're digging their burrows. Now, the person who answered this reasoned that if woodchucks could chuck wood, they would chuck an equivalent amount to the weight of dirt that they chuck when they're digging their burrows. So to answer your question, Cleveland, and to put to rest this answer once and for all, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? The answer is 700 pounds, my friend. And the final question is not nearly as grandeur as this one. And honestly, I should have flipped the order of these two, because that would have been a perfect question to end on, the woodchuck one. But the question is asked by Ethan, and he asked me, why did I start streaming? Now, this is different from why I decided to start a YouTube channel. What inspired me to start a YouTube channel? I started streaming as kind of a way to get more views and to expand my content mostly. But I keep streaming because it's easier for me to do, on demand at least. And I have plenty of games that I wouldn't play as games for a video, but I would play as games for streams. And I have and by the way, if you're wondering, I'm gonna plug my Twitch again. Editor, thank you. So I stream 1 to 3 times a week, depending on how motivated I am to stream and what what ideas I can come up with for streams that week. I was gonna stream this week, but I chose not to because I had a bit of a mental breakdown over the election, and that's not really something I'm gonna get too much more into. But just know that did happen. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. If you're wondering, hey, what's the next episode gonna be about? I will have that put down in the description. I'm really sorry about taking like a month break all of a sudden without any reason given by me at all. I will make sure I stay on track for uploads for the rest of the year. Then I will probably take New Year's, like the first week of January, off as well. I'll take the first week of January off, and then I'll get back into season 2 of Chase and Thoughts with Chase, including guests. Let's freaking go! And in terms of that, it's probably going to be every other to every third episode, if I'm being honest. Not every episode is going to be a guest podcasting, but they're going to be frequent. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next week.